All right. Good morning, agents. This is Kevin Lauren. I'm the Director of Training and Marketing here at Alta Realty Group. And I want to welcome you guys to a lovely training this morning. We're going to be going over the Client Welcome Kit, which is a really good tool for a lot of different situations. So we'll be going into that into great detail today. Before we get into today's presentation, I want to welcome a few of our new agents. We have Eugene Prince, Tom Liu, Marlo Donnell, a lot of other new agents on the line, which is always exciting. Welcome back Helen and Fauzia and Amelia, Dorothy, Catherine, Carlos, all of our regulars, Rhonda Butler. Good morning, everybody. So before we get into today's presentation, I'm going to bring on Bill Seitz from Clearview Mortgage. Good morning, Bill. How are you today?
Good morning, Kevin. I'm doing great. How are you?
Fantastic. Excited for the Wednesday webinar.
There we go.
Come on. It's always good to get fired up midweek and finish the week strong, right?
Absolutely. You know, keep a good attitude. It's hump day and push it across the finish line.
Exactly. Love it. And I'm going to bring Cameron Alley from Clearview Mortgage on the line as well. Good morning, Cameron.
Good morning, Kevin. How's it going, man?
Very, very good. Excited.
Good.
All right, perfect. So Cameron's going to bring us up to speed with what's going on out there in mortgage land. And I'm going to bring up our 10-year treasury just to get the party started here.
Yes, sir. That's how we always like to start it. So some pretty good news on the 10-year today. We're down 5 basis points this morning, where we were up like almost 6 when the day started. So we're catching a little break today, which is awesome. But I did you get that email, Kevin, of that article I sent you?
Well, let me check.
Maybe check real quick. So today, what I kind of want to go over real quick is something that some people might not know about, which is the high balance loan limit, which kind of affects rates. And it's really good as a realtor to know what that limit is. It's not the conforming limit in the county, but it's basically another limit that affects the rate because of the new fee that Fannie and Freddie put on these new loans. So if you go down a little bit there, Kevin, I don't know if everyone's on their phone, they probably can't see, but basically what this graph is showing here, if you hit the 5-year, Kevin.
5-year, sure.
Yeah. So basically the rates are always determined by the 10-year treasury, but right now with the extra fees that Fannie and Freddie are charging on the back end, it's kind of not necessarily aligning how it always has throughout history because of those other fees that we don't see, that the borrowers don't see, but that they're charging. So essentially the 10-year treasury today is much lower than it was in April 2010. But today marks the highest that rates have been since April 2010. And the reason being is for these loan level adjustments that Fannie and Freddie are charging on the back end. But if you look at that graph right there, basically that sharp spike that you see right at the end, that is the last 3 months. So we have never seen in the history of mortgage rates a spike like that quick. It's completely unprecedented. And that just kind of gives you the visualization of what is going on and how quickly it's happened and how, we just need to adjust to the changes. But today I'm going to give a little advice on how you can kind of avoid getting the higher rates. So I'll go ahead and start with that right now. But basically, a high balance loan is anything above $647,250. Okay. So even if the conforming limit in, let's say, LA County is $970,000, anything above that $647,000 threshold is getting a 1% charge on the back end from Fannie and Freddie. So let's say the loan is $800,000, right? Your borrower or your buyer is getting charged $8,000 on the back end by Fannie and Freddie. It's not disclosed to them. It's not disclosed to us. It's not disclosed to anybody, but it's disclosed in the rate sheet. So basically, if you were to keep the loan below that $647,250, you'd be charged nothing. So basically that's why the rates in the higher loans are so much higher than they are in the bottom, which is really just, not common. So let's say you were going to buy a house and you're going to put 10% down and the loan is going to be 647. Your rate is still going to be like in the mid to low fours. But if you go above that 647 250 by $1, your rate's going to be in the fives now. So that's something really really helpful. If you have clients that are in that range, that price range, you could literally say, okay, well, if we put another 10,000 down, we can be under the 647 250, and you're going to get a much, much, much better rate. And other than that, it's going to help them qualify for more, and it's going to make them maybe have less conditions on their loan because their DTI is going to be better. So I know that's kind of a lot to remember right now, but just remember that number 647 250. And if your client isn't qualifying and they're in that range and it's close, remember to let them know, okay, well, maybe we can adjust the loan or whatever lender you're working with. And a lot of people have no idea. Even the lenders that are out there doing loans, they don't know about this price adjustment because it's not necessarily advertised. It's just Fannie and Freddie making more money on the back end, trying to make up for what they lost during the pandemic. So anyways, but as a couple more helpful hints for people that maybe you're having problems qualifying right now, one thing that you definitely can do is put less down and pay off debt instead. Okay, so maybe let's say you're putting 10% down, right? And your client has a car that they owe $10,000 on, but their payment is still $800 because they paid it down quite a bit. Well, that $10,000 would serve them a lot better if they paid that off rather than putting that down on the house, because now they just went to qualifying easily instead of not qualifying. Another thing you can do is have them buy down the rate rather than put more down. So let's say, once again, you're buying an $800,000 house and you're putting 10% down. If you put 8% down, now you can buy down the rate 0.5%, and your payment just dropped by, $200. If that $10,000 that you're putting down isn't going to make a $200 a month difference. So it's just really important to kind of have these by your side, because there's not always going to be lenders that are watching out for you on those type of things. So, it's going to help you if you're having problems with your clients qualifying. And then also keeping your loan under that high balance threshold that we talked about, super important, because they're literally getting charged. I mean, the rate sheet is so much different above that anything you can do to stay below that, it's going to help them out a lot. And then one more thing that I'd like to talk about is that as refinances slow down, because obviously refinance applications are down like I think 75% from this time last year. So compared to where they are now, the way that lenders compensate for that is they increase their compensation. So that's another thing that your clients might not see on the back end, is the compensation that the lenders are charging. So while a lender might be 1.75 at one point, when it gets slower, they increase to 2.5 so that they can make more money on each loan since they're doing less of them. And then your buyer is getting a worse rate because of that, because they're charged on the back end for that lender paid compensation. So keep that in mind. And obviously, as rates have increased, we have not increased our compensation at Clearview Mortgage at all. In fact, we lowered our compensation with one of our lenders to 1.3, which is insanely competitive. And the reason why we did it is to help people qualify in this market where rates are going up. So, we have a lot of options to help you out and make sure that you're getting your clients to qualify. And if you're having problems qualifying your clients, just give us a call. Give me a call. Even if you're not going to bring the loan to us, I can literally usually give you a solution or tell you it's just not going to work within 10 minutes. So we're always here to help, but I just wanted to kind of explain that that high balance ratio to you, and a couple little helpful things to hopefully help your buyers qualify. And if you guys have any questions, always feel free to reach out.
Awesome, Cameron. And Bill, anything to add there?
Another great market. update from Cameron, as always. I would just repeat this. I know he's mentioned this last couple of weeks, is just make sure that your pre-approvals are up to date, because in this ever-changing rate environment, something that if you have a pre-approval from 4-6 weeks ago, it might not be valid anymore. So as people are, trying to squeeze every dollar in purchasing power, you really got to stay on top of these things, because it might not be valid or relevant today's market. And also, one thing that is nice about most people that know us at Clearview and been with Alta for a while, is United Wholesale has been kind of our bread and butter go-to wholesale company, which it still is for the most part. But we have a number of other banks that do non-qualified mortgages and other niche products. So for self-employed, bank statement loans, and we have a really good working relationship with these other investors. So just know that we have a full spectrum, a full suite of different types of products that we can help buyers get into if we have to be creative. So
That's for sure.
Actually, Bill, you just brought another really important point up in my mind that I want to just really quick discuss. So one thing right now, guys, is getting a co-borrower can be extremely helpful right now. And a lot of people are, they don't want to co-sign with maybe a family member because they think it's going to affect their debt to income ratio. But one thing to keep in mind is that after a year, if your buyer can provide bank statements showing that they're making the payment themselves, that co-borrower is not liable to that extra debt, because they can just show those bank statements. Let's say if they want to buy a property, they can show 12 months of bank statements of someone else paying the mortgage, and it doesn't go against them. So co-signers are going to be, literally the number one determining factor in helping people qualify as rates go up. So keep that in mind, because that can be pretty powerful too. Like if you have a client that maybe her mom or dad wants to co-sign, maybe it's like a younger couple trying to buy a house. Well, they can know that in a year they can get that liability washed off of their debt to income. So that's really powerful.
Fantastic.
Yeah, that is because a lot of parents, maybe, they feel like they're stuck, right? They're like, oh, I would help Junior or little Susie out with doing this, but I've been burned in the past, or they don't want to do that again.
Yeah.
I think if you provide an out or a solution, then it becomes a lot easier to sell the opportunity.
Yep. And they can always get refinanced off too. So
Yeah, well said.
But I think that's all we have.
All right. Well, thanks, guys. Like I always say, don't hesitate to reach out to the team at Clearview Mortgage. They are always good at bouncing ideas off of something that you or client aren't thinking of. These guys are in the trenches every single day, coming up with solutions. So 9 times out of 10, they've got an idea that maybe you or your client haven't thought of. And so it's just really good to use these guys as, your tools. So go ahead and get a hold of those guys. You can, of course, just go to clearviewmortgage.com or clearviewmortgageca.com, or go to cameronalley.com, or Cameron, you can email him at cameron@cvmloans.com. So plenty of ways to get a hold of those guys. All right. Thanks, guys. Appreciate it. So let's get into our presentation today. So today we're going to be talking about our client welcome kits. And so client welcome kits I think are an underutilized tool that agents should be using. So what is a client welcome kit? So really, a client welcome kit can have anything you want in it, but it should reflect the kinds of things that you do in your business. It should reflect your personality. And so the things that we like to include in a client welcome kit are, just some basics, stats about what you provide as a realtor. There should be a little bits of information about you, some advantage of selling your home, how you basically position people's homes and how you market their homes should be put. It's almost a little bit of a listing presentation in a sense. You'll have little bits of, listing presentations and little bits of examples of some of your marketing perhaps. So the client welcome kit can be used in a lot of different situations. So let's just think about, and while I'm going through this, also just think or put in the chat different ideas about what you might put in a client welcome kit that might be unique. So when to use the client welcome kit would be in, door knocking. Door knocking, you can, well, first of all, let me back up. You can create a digital client welcome kit, as well as you can print the client welcome kit out and you can distribute it, in face-to-face meetings or in door knocking situations, things like that. So it's really, really a good idea to create a client welcome kit that is also digital. So you can, just email it to people, or you can, text it to people in certain cases. So you're getting that information over to them. And it's a great way to present yourself as a professional in the field. Not only are you just giving somebody maybe a business card, you're giving them a full description of, the kinds of things that you do. So how do we make our client welcome kits? Well, we have our lovely Canva program that I think a lot of you are now using, which is great. So in order to get to our Canva account, you just have to go to our Agent Resource Center right here. And click on Canva for Alta to sign up for an account. So once you're here at Canva, or once you're logged into your account here, you'll click on the Alta Realty Group tab over here, which will give you access to all the different designs that Courtney's been behind the scenes working with, all these great market reports, clickbait, really tons and tons of really cool already branded things with the Alta Realty Group logos. Here's your client welcome kit here. But the easiest way to get to the client welcome kit is to click on folders and click on listing presentations. And you'll see right here, client welcome kit. You'll just click on that and that will bring open the editable version of the client welcome kit. So super easy, as most of you are realizing in Canva, you can just upload your own elements. So maybe you want a nice background image that you've, taken, or your photographers have taken of one of your listings. No problem. You can just upload media yourself and drag it over. So super easy to customize virtually everything in this client welcome kit, but this is a nice template that allows you to at least have a really, really nice starting point. And of course, you can just take this idea, run with it, create, a completely different client welcome kit. And of course, you can just add pages. So one of the really great things to put in a client welcome kit is a list of your referral network. So, you could have a list, or you could have, contact information for the, handyman that you trust, and the painters, and the, mortgage people, Clearview Mortgage that you trust, and all those different things in your client welcome kit. And that's a resource for your client. You want your client welcome kit to be a resource for your clients and also a marketing tool for you. So you want to think about things that you could put in your client welcome kit that would be of use to your clients. And, you could even add a market report. So, you could have some kind of a little market report that you get from a website, and you could just add a page and drag and drop a little image from that. And so maybe your client welcome kit the last page always has like a special market report, right? So like I said, the sky is the limit with what you can put in your client welcome kit. So I don't want people to think that, these are the only things. But you can really get creative with what you put in your client welcome kit. One thing that I'm starting to do a lot more of is do QR codes, right? So in a printed version of a client welcome kit, you could have your QR codes in there, right? So of course, are all of our agents that are in the program 2 have access to the agent marketing suite. And in our agent marketing suite, we can create QR codes. So say we wanted to create a QR code and we wanted it to go to a specific website. So in this case, this is just an example. There we are. So all we have to do is put in the URL of wherever we want to send people with that QR code. And we put in a little, just put in testing ARG. Let's generate that. And now this code will send us to this page. So getting back to our example, you could have let's just save this. And so now we can download a JPEG of this. We can download a GIF or a PNG, and then we could upload that to our to our client welcome kit. And we could embed one of those QR codes right here. So say we wanted, to send someone to a free market report, like I said, we could send them to a page on our website that has that free market report. So a lot of different ways that we can, use some of the technologies that we have access to us in conjunction with one another in order to, provide value to our clients. And, a lot of, these days you see that QR code and you kind of want to use it, right? You want to get your phone out and say, where does this take me? Especially if you use kind of some, provocative, fun kind of marketing and say like, anything you want really, but you could, create a QR code and have something underneath it that says, scan the QR code to unlock all of the, potential of your home. You could say something provocative and fun like that in order to, get someone to do that scan of that QR code. So QR codes are a really fun thing to put into a printed version of your client welcome kit. And then also, as you guys know, we do have access to not just QR codes, but we have the ability to create text codes. So in the agent marketing system, we can create a text code that's unique to you. And you could, put in some language in the client welcome kit that says something like, text the word, free report to 79564 in order to get my free, real estate guide, right? So we could say free or Val. I'll get one for Val. Val's free report. Whoops. Click here. And then we would put in a URL. So now we could take that information, we could put it into our client welcome kit and say, yes, text the word, Val's free report to unlock my free report on the housing market in your area, So you can have all these different really cool things that drive people back to your website, because we're always in our marketing, we're always wanting to drive people back to our website, keep them looking with our stuff. We don't want them as much going out to Zillow and Realtor.com and all of those other places. We want them to be searching MLS with our, technology, right? So any questions? I don't see any questions in the chat so far, but as Don in the chat says, he says, hey, anybody that has questions, of course, we have a chat feature here, and we will do our best to help you thrive with Alta Realty Group. So thanks for that, Don. Appreciate it. For those of you that do not know Don Kearney is one of our recruiters, and he's a huge asset to our company. He's a really knowledgeable individual. So we're lucky to have Don with us. So with no questions, Bill, do you have any takeaways from today's presentation or anything that kind of jarred your mind with respect to the client welcome kit?
Yeah, I think this thing, it's a neat little tool, especially now when we have people probably on the fence about moving. People are probably really questioning, should I sell? It seems like it's the top of the market. There's low inventory. There's all these reasons to consider selling your home right now, or maybe they're looking to move out of state, or this is a really good kind of pass off to your client to get them thinking even further in that capacity. And there's nothing better than being able to give somebody something of value. And this is definitely something of value, especially if you put it together properly. This is not something that somebody's just gonna, I don't think, throw away, or not at least spend a few minutes passing it over or going through it. And then it's a really good way to follow up too. Hey, did you get my welcome kit, or my however you're gonna brand it? Maybe you're gonna make it a listing, a potential listing, type thing. I mean, you can customize it that way, right, Kev?
Oh, for sure. And that's a great point. Like, we like to call it the client welcome kit. You can call it whatever the heck you want. So really good point. For some of you, maybe you're like, I don't want to, it's not a client welcome kit, or maybe that's not conducive to my current clients and I want to send this to, so you could call this, your client guide, or anything you want. So that's a really good point, Bill.
Yeah, and that's maybe something that we can do in subsequent trainings, is probably maybe give an example of what maybe more of a listing geared type, whatever, brochure or digital, platform would look like, versus maybe a buyer's first time buyer, or somebody who's looking to buy in this marketplace. But that's the beauty of it. You can customize it any way you want. And it's a real good tool, digital tool to send out. And with the digital side of it, it's very cost effective, right? Once it's made, it's free to shoot out with the internet. So if you've got a nice database of email addresses, and you've got different ways to connect with people digitally, it's free.
Exactly. And so we're always, thinking of ways to, reasons to contact someone. This is just another reason. Hey, I just created this, this new, client welcome kit. Just wanted to make sure that you have it, even for past clients, and you can also let them know, hey, it's a very good tool for referrals. So you can say to the person that you send it to for your past client, hey, remember, you can send this to anybody that that might be looking, that might need my services. So it's a really, really, really good thing to hand off. Same thing for the printed version, right? So it's just like, oh yeah, if you know anybody that needs this, you can certainly, send it to them, or let them know that I can send that to them directly. So it's like a tangible object that, even if it's a digital version, it's a tangible thing that is being sent and is like, branded with your stuff. And so it makes you look professional. It makes you look like you are an expert in that market. And people, it does add a tiny bit of trust and credibility to your business, right?
Yeah, and I mean, you could even just use it as a soft way to get the conversation started. Hey, I just created this new marketing piece. What do you think of it?
Right. And so it's just
super easy conversation starter.
For sure. And so, like you said, hey, this is, right now, spring, a lot of people are the markets usually heat up. Great time to just say, hey, here I am. Here's my stuff. Anybody, you want to refer me? It's a perfect way to ask for a referral, right?
Well, yeah. And so if you pull all this information that we've talked about, even from when Cameron went through his presentation on what the market's doing, where rates are going, we know where they're going. They're going up, and they're going to continue to go up. So it really gives you the tools and the ammunition to be a well-versed agent that you can really approach people with confidence and say, hey, look, here's where we're at. Have you ever considered selling? Or if I could provide you, a net sheet, or if I could, provide you some additional information, is this something that might, would you consider selling at this point? Or, or maybe if I could find you a qualified buyer, all this stuff is really connected. And to be a good agent, you need to know all of it.
Exactly. And so what about if, you get a referral from another agent? This is a perfect piece to solidify that referral, right? And the other agent's going to be like, whoa, that was pretty cool. So a lot of advantages to, creating this little client welcome kit. As you guys can see, it's really easy to literally change it the way you want it, put your information in here, drag and drop your own little, image, put your contact information here, throw in a QR code and download that thing and share it, and you're done. I mean, you can literally have one done within 5 minutes if you wanted. If you want to spend some time on it, spend an hour on it, you're going to have a really stunning piece. So I think it's a really, really good tool. Anything else to add, Bill?
No, I don't. I think if you're not super busy right now, but you've got some people that you're courting, or hoping that they're going to transition into active buyers or sellers, I think this is a great bridge to that process getting started.
For sure. So if you guys need more information, you can of course contact me and we can help you with this. Besides that, hope you guys get out there and make it a great week and a productive week. And next week, we are hopefully going to be going through home warranties. And so we'll be touching on that. It's a really important piece as well. All right, guys, get out there and we will see you next week on the webinar. Bye-bye.